Alright, what's up everybody? Just about to do a little sit down with you guys. I've just had a few things happen to me the last few weeks, and so I wanted to, I guess, just share some of the reasons why I think I've had some of that success. I'm doing this now. I just worked out, lifted weights. I was going to do it after I showered, but it just kept like going on my mind, so I was like, I just gotta video it so that I can stop digesting it and chewing it up in my head. Whatever. I even got my phone here with some notes so I can stay on track. So I'm gonna preface this with like a little bit with how I was growing up. I think mostly into junior high and high school. I've always been, I feel like, confusing and a little complicated in terms of like introvert and extrovert. I've always felt like I feel like I'm kind of both at different times. I'm both, and I don't know if you guys will be able to all relate with this or not, but maybe you can, I don't know. So in certain circles I feel very extroverted, I feel very outgoing, I can talk a lot, whatever. But then in other situations I'm very quiet and passive and I don't really care about speaking that much, whatever. I feel like in junior high, high school, I don't really know why. That there was just times, I'm sure many people experience this, but just being picked on, teased, whatever. I was a late bloomer. Like I still have a baby face. I was always short, small, and so I was always like insecure about some stuff, and just getting teased and picked on and stuff didn't make it necessarily any easier. And so I think mostly starting in high school, I kind of developed the mindset of like, I hate, like, take the situations that you hate. Like, one of the situations happened, you hated it, and in my head I'm like, how do I never be put in that situation again? So I would think about the end result, and then I would think about the decision that I felt like started me onto the path to get to the end result, and I would just not do the first decision. Basically it was like a safety net for me. I'm very observant, I'm very critical thinker. I think everything through. And history, like they always say, history repeats itself, and basically all of my thoughts and patterns were like very general. Things happen over and over and over and over again. What happened in my parents' life, what happened in my life, what happened in my kids' life, what happens in my wife's life. We all generally go through the same exact like situations, just change the people, change the scenario. So basically I felt like I knew, like in those situations that I hated, like in the general thinking, I knew what was gonna happen in every situation because I had observed so many other situations, whether through my own experience or through the experiences of others, and I'd seen the end result that happened in their experiences. And so in a very general way, I knew what was gonna happen based off of like a bunch of different decisions. And a lot of times in my thinking I was right, but I mean, not every single time is that the case. Basically, I live my life like off a lot of generalities. Like I said, it was a safety net way of thinking, but also in that way of thinking, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't do just because of safety. I was like, ooh, I don't want to hang out with these people because I don't want them to necessarily think that we're that good of friends, and I don't want it to end up complicating me having to this, that, or the other. And basically, like, my mind would think like that. And so one of the luxuries of working at Bobby Benson is that we're forced to meet with a therapist once a month to talk about goals, to talk about anything that we're dealing with at work that can, like, they can help us so that we can be most effective as we try to help the kids that we're working with. Anyways, so I'm telling, like, it's interesting too because a lot of people talk about therapy, a therapist, there's a lot of stigma attached to it, and myself included. Like, I mean, I've thought about it, and I took psychology classes, and I know that I feel like anybody can benefit from a therapist or benefit from seeking someone who is knowledgeable in that area and seeking advice from them. Just talking about like Kevin Love right now, talking about how everybody's going through something. We're all going through something. Not all of us have schizophrenia, not all of us suffer depression chronically, but we all go through stuff, and it's important that we maintain our mental health. Like, that's just life. Taking care of ourselves so that we can be successful in all aspects of our life. Anyway, so we were talking about this, and the therapist talked about how I wanted to set a goal to be able to live more in the moment. To um, like it came out where it was like, I'm like, man, first off, I'm like, dude, I'm too old to be like afraid of some of the things that I'd been afraid of before. Like, I understand in high school, like, you don't want to be picked on, whatever, so you do whatever it takes not to be picked on. Whereas now I'm like, dude, I'm too old. I'm married, I have a child. I should be able to handle whatever, do whatever, because it's fine. Like, I have my support system. I have somebody who is on my side all the time, and I want to teach my kids how to, teach them good principles and stuff like that. And so we talked about too how like 90+% of the time when I would just do something and not think about it, like just go hang out, or to not overthink about what might happen in this situation, it would end up being good times. Like, I would have a fine time, it would be okay, and nothing would go wrong. And so she was like, if that's the case, then what's the problem? And I was like, maybe I just, and you get in such a rut of thinking that this is like, no, you're like, you're right, you know yourself better than anybody else. And like, that's how I was thinking. I was like, no, I'm not scared, this is just how I am, this is just how I want to be. And I'm like, after that saying, just like most 90% of the time when I go and do it, it ends up being fine. And so basically the last few weeks I feel like I have thought less. So she gave me a skill. We teach the kids coping skills, or things like that they can use when they're having situations of distress or anxiety that they can go to. And anyway, so the skill that we went over, she said it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 skill. And so to keep myself in the moment, so every like once a day or twice a day, so 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can feel, 3 things that I can hear, 2 things that I can touch, and 1 thing that I can taste. So your 5 senses. So 2 times a day I would do that. And just, I don't know, just looking back on the last 2 weeks, like, so like an example, like lifting weights. Like, before I'd be sitting there and be like, man, I should go lift some weights. And then I'll be like, I don't need to lift weights. There's nothing to lift weights for. I don't play sports. You're playing basketball, you're doing good. You don't necessarily need to lift weights. And I would like just sit there and do that. Whereas now, not for any other reason, but I just like, I'm thinking less. I'm not analyzing everything. I'm just getting up and I'm doing stuff. And in the last 2 weeks I've done a lot of sweet stuff that I'm like, man, this is awesome. I feel like I've been a better husband, a better dad. And I haven't like changed anything great. It's just I've been trying to live in the moment more. And maybe just that skill has helped me. I don't know necessarily what it is, but I just wanted to, I guess, just share that with you guys. Living in the moment, it has helped me to just do things that I want to do. Instead of analyzing everything, being scared to do this or being scared to do that, I'm just doing it. And then in hindsight, most of the time it just works out and it's fine. So basically, I don't know, I just wanted to get on camera and share that with you guys. I feel like we all have dreams, goals, whatever, and a lot of times we just talk ourselves out of it. We think too much about it and we just never end up doing it. A lot of the entrepreneurship books I've read is people in like their 50s, 60s being like, man, I wish I would have just never done this. Not talked myself out of it, just done it. And I feel like we can all do that. We can all go after the things that we want. We can all do the things that we desire or are passionate about. We just can't get in our own heads, just stop getting in our own ways. And when we do that, we'll be able to enjoy life, we'll be able to have fun. And if we fail, like with those entrepreneurship books too, they always talked about how like they had to fail so many times before they could succeed. And when you fail, at least you tried. And I feel like that's half the battle. Plus you develop so much wisdom through failure. So I guess what this is about is just trying to live in the moment. Just be the best you can in the moment. When you get out of the moment, you can try, I don't know any other skills off the top of my head, but use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 skill. Like, put yourself in the moment, bring yourself back. Don't think too much about other stuff and just thrive in that moment. And if it's anything like what I've been experiencing the last few weeks, good things will happen for you. So thanks for watching. Sorry if this is too I don't know, too serious or whatever, but appreciate you guys. Hope y'all are having a great day. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. almost to 100. That was like my initial goal from the start of making YouTube, and I'm like, it's crazy that it's here. 100 is not really anything, but it's a goal that I feel like I'm about to reach, so that's pretty cool. But salute to you guys, and until next time, peace.